policies as against utopian thinking or unrealistic policies. That is where my opponents are struggling, because some of the things they say, I sit down and I look at them and I say, look, in my mother tongue, Dagwanle, that what a
say because we want to hear it. It will be nice.
Sit down and see.
No, say it in the language and interpret
on the tree will not see, because some of the things I hear, I just laugh. Because
say it in the language.
It's okay. I don't want to speak vernacular. I'll say it another time.
Okay.
Because I would rather concentrate on my policies, which I said is evidence-based. Because you said Saturday is the D-Day. Of course, it's the D-Day. And I have no doubt in my mind, I have a very strong campaign team. It's not my individual efforts. My campaign managers, do you know them?
Yes.
But what I mean, they don't go on platforms, TV, insulting. They are giving me the strategies, how we can win the election.
Okay.
Sometimes people call me, well, who is your campaign manager? I said, no, my campaign manager is very gentleman. He can't involve in the politics of insults and lies. And that is why you don't hear them. But behind the scene, they are giving me the strategies on how we can achieve resounding victory.
You said something here. Politics of, it's like a dirty politics. Is that what you observe? Exactly.
And as an incumbent, I still have the responsibility to maintain the cohesion and the unity before, during, and after the chapter election. Because unity is very key if we have to beat MPP in 2024. So the approach, some of my openness, to be fair, not all of them, I've taken. If I had also responded in that same way, there would have been more tension in the chapter. So I'm just here to present myself, to highlight my achievement. And of course, if there are lessons to be learned, then I will learn from members, and then we can continue to move UCAN Ireland chapter forward. Before I joined you, I was with South London question and answer section. And they asked me a very important question, that some of my colleagues were branch chairman before, and now that they want to be chapter chairman, when they were branch chairman, what was their contribution to the recruitment drive in their branch? It will interest you to know. 2 of them were branch chairman before, and one branch, interestingly, happens to be the oldest branch in the UK. But they only realized that there was a need to recruit. Going by the dates their members joined, over 60% of them joined just before the cutoff point. It's interesting. Even looking at it, some joined after the cutoff point. I have no problem when one's join NDC. For me, this idea of deadline cutoff point is not even relevant. Everybody who joins should be allowed to vote. By a branch chairman who has been a chairman for almost 8 years, and all of a sudden, the numbers in his branch, 60% of them just joined before, then he said that he should raise some eyebrows. And then what I will do to increase members, I said the record is there. The electorate that elected me were less than 250 in 2018. Today, despite the argument, the controversies surrounding the voter register, we are going to set another record. We have 499. It has never happened in the history of any NDC chapter. Mighty Germany, their numbers was less than 140. Even US were less than around 150. So UK, if we are able to even present 450, let's make provision for people not 10. Okay, let's even say 400 voting. That is still a record. So I hear people say UCAN Ireland is sinking. I say, you can't be in competitive politics and a political wing of a political party is growing unprecedentedly, and you always think about sinking. They were not visible. Gone are those days when a UK and Ireland chapter was like a social club. Social club because there was no threat of ROPA. We just meet once every month to socialize as serving sisters and go disperse. Now the dynamics in diaspora politics is changing.
Yes.
We need the people. ROPA can come anytime too. And I've made it clear that as when it comes to recruitment into this chapter, in the history of chapter, I'm para. The records are there.
It seems like the work is a very hard work.
Yes.
So why do you want to be retained for your position?
Honestly, we are
thinking of your family, thinking of your social life.
It's not hard. Even those who are doing it full time in Ghana, they don't go through what we are going through.
Yes.
But if we have a situation where some people think the only way they can be relevant in NDC is to run down others, then you end up with that situation.
Yes.
Look, it's a simple thing one can do, and I've learned, and that is why I'm pleading to UK and Ireland members to retain me. Because of my experience leading the chapter in the last 5 years, I know where to address the issues and then we won't be in this kind of situation again. So there's all misconception out there. UK and Ireland chapter cannot even conduct their elections because of some registers issue. Yes. Didn't they have issues in Ghana, even at the national office? But some of the things as incumbent are issues that I'm not in the position to discuss publicly. But it's not issues that cannot be resolved. In every election, there's vested interest. And if you don't manage your political interest in the best interest of yourself as a group, then you run into difficulties. I will fight because for me, the numbers matters. I don't care which part of Ghana you are coming from. I don't care which religion you belong to. And my record in this chapter is clear. That is why I don't have problem. Because if you call me and say, look, my name is Kofi Kula, I want to join NDC, the first thing I'll ask you, where do you live in the UK? If you mention your postcode, and I'll tell you, okay, where you live, there's a local branch there.
Yes.
If there's no branch in your postcode catchment area, I'll signpost you to the nearest branch. Some will say, no, we want to have a branch in our town or city. And they will start asking me, what is the requirement? If I tell them you need 15 people to form a branch, they'll say, okay, then we'll have a branch instead of joining the nearest branch. And I don't do this based on where you are coming from.
Yeah.
I've recruited anybody across the board. And this is a broad church. So if you are a smart politician, you can't do travel politics and you can't go anywhere.
Yes.
My best friends in the chapter, they're not from the same track like me. The records is there. I said myself, my campaign team, they're all accounts. They're accounts and Evers.
So this shows that you are a team player.
I'm a team player.
Yes.
But they create the monster out of Mbalba. That is not the case. They have seen the evidence clearly.
Yes.
You and I know, as a social worker, can you afford to discriminate in this country?
No, you
lose your license to practice. You will be reported, and that will be the end of your career. So even outside politics, I'm obliged by my professional values to relate to anybody without any form of discrimination and give equal opportunity to everyone.
But
and that is what
outsiders have got to know that the NDC, UK and Ireland have issues of not being able to do their chapter executive elections.
Yeah.
They have that. So that is one. And then two is, what is your vision for the future of NDC, UK and Ireland? Because you have been there for 5 years.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, that's another issue. Some say I've overstayed. We have dragged our election for over a year. It's normal in NDC, UK and Ireland chapter. Even my predecessor, it was postponed more than a year. Kofi Kwachi.
Yeah.
It's remained in office for more than a year. Yes. Election that was meant to take place in 2017. I was elected with him in 2013 as Deputy Secretary. So our election should have been taking place in 2017. It took place around September 2018. So what are we talking about? Was I the chairman that time? I'm not saying we should continue doing the same thing and expect the same results. No. And because I've seen, if not once, 3 times so far, I've learned a lot to change it. So it's not unprecedented for Chairman Alhassan Mbalba to stay in office beyond 4 years. That has been the norm. Sometimes no one's fault. I know where the problem is coming from. If they allow us, or if we, how will I put it? I don't want to come across as condescending to our members. Behave that we are mature people who knows our left and right, and we can take our own destiny into our own hands. Accra will stay away.
Yes.
But if we have a situation where we allow the mother party in Accra to treat us differently because we behave like we don't know what we are about. Honestly, sometimes I sit down and tell myself, even what is happening to us in Ghana, they can't do that to my local branch in Tamale South. You can't. Because it is NDC constitution is clear.
Yes.
It is the chairman of every unit constituency that calls election. That calls it is my call.
Yes.
And that is why it's always difficult in Ghana to unroot a incumbent. Yes. Because he determines when the election took place. Yes. It is, and even Venu, it is only when he fails to do that, then the next layer will step in. In my case, they say because he's an incumbent, he's going to manipulate, he should step aside. I was asked to step aside. Let me make this clear. A letter came saying that as far as election matters is concerned, the current executive headed by me should not have say. At that point, as a legal-minded person, I could have challenged it because it's not in our constitution. But who calls it? Our people call and make those unfounded allegations. But I just say, okay, because if I insist that I want to be in charge of the election, which is what is supposed to happen, and then I will beat them, which I know I'm going to beat them, they will say because you were directly involved, that's why you defeated us. General Mosquito or General Chairman and former National Chairman, they were incumbent when they contested. They never stepped aside. Nobody said because they are contesting, they shouldn't have say with regards to how the elections to be conducted. But I allowed that. So for the past 1 year, January this year, I'm not having any say when it comes to election matters. I wish I was there. I would have just used
what does the Constitution says? The
Constitution is clear. The chairman calls the date. Yes. The chairman calls that one because you can't have a group of people deciding something. The chairman will say, okay, this is the day, this is the venue.
Yes.
For me to conduct, for us to have our national conference to elect the executive.
Yes.
And it is clear. But in this case, and it is the executive that appoints the committees responsible for the election management. The election committee, the vetting committee, and the appeals committee. Because of my foresight, I, led by the executive, we appointed a committee to manage our elections. As far back October, November last year, even before we received the directive from Accra. I thought that was a good thing to do because I announced it. I even asked the chapter secretary to send the list to Accra. And you know what happened? Some of our colleagues called and said they didn't know anything about the committee. And they dissolved it just because we did not wait to get a letter from Accra. Again, I could have resisted it. I said, the minutes are there, but I just said, okay, if I'm going to be the problem, I won't touch it. Let's leave it. Let's set up whatever.
A way of empowering
them. I allow it to go. But all this, upon reflection, I should have made it clear, look, this is not right. Allow this to go the way it is. But if you drag it for long, and you are not able to even agree on simple issues, then that's where you create a vacuum and the next hierarchy in the party will step in. And that is why the electoral committee came in. The international director came in and set up what is now known as the chapter interim committee.
So therefore, you have made an impact personally since you took over as chairman.
Yeah, I'll come to that. I'm not going to even talk our internal issue. Let me go to my achievement.
Yes.
Look, When I was campaigning in 2018, one of my promises was that for me, our name is not really what we should be called.
Yeah.
Because UK and Ireland chapter, NDC, was formed around 1992, when NDC was formed in Ghana.
Yes.
We were given the name UK and Ireland chapter. Not Republic of Ireland, no, sorry, not Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
So that means we are made up of what? England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Republic of Ireland. And all along, we kept saying UK and Ireland chapter. Without a branch in Scotland, without a branch in Republic of Ireland. So our name was not really what it was. So I made a promise. Elect me, and I'll make sure before I leave office, there will be branch in Republic of Ireland. There will be branch in Scotland. There will be branch in every country within the United Kingdom. Today, as I'm speaking, we have a branch in Dublin, which is completely not even within the United Kingdom. It's a country by itself. We have a first branch was created in Glasgow, in Scotland. Today, there's a group in Cardiff. When they contacted me that they want to join NDC, and I said, okay, Cardiff, we don't have branch around there. Can they join one of the London branches? They paused a bit and they asked me, what about if they want to have a branch in Cardiff? I say, yes, it's possible. These are the requirements. But for now, the election issues is so much that we can't even talk about inauguration. So they should wait after the election. We'll put roadmap regardless of who becomes the chairman, and then we'll see how we can inaugurate. There's a group in Belfast, that's Northern Ireland. They also refuse to join Republic of Ireland because they want to have a branch. Again, I told them they should wait. At this stage, we can't talk about any inauguration after the election. So if they give me second term, I bet you all the United Kingdom countries, including the Republic of Ireland, the branches will just spread up and spread widely like bushfire. And that is my achievement. And this is reflecting in our membership, as I said earlier on. And if you come to England, we have inaugurated Telford, East London. We revamped Manchester, Liverpool. I know some people will say, okay, he was opposing East London and Telford, and he's now claiming credit. For the record purpose, it was matter of principle. You know the issues in North London. And if today, I'm a man of principle, if the situation that made me to oppose the inauguration of East London as the way they wanted to do it should present itself today, I will act the same way. If the situation that made me to reluctantly agree to the inauguration of Telford happens today, I would handle it the same way. Because what I don't believe, you don't form a branch out of protest. That is me. People can say what they want to say. But because you want to get a position in a branch, you don't get it, and the next day you are forming a branch. No, that is not acceptable in politics. So that was my stand on it. But after going through everything, I said, look, these people have satisfied the requirement, so there was no point to even stop their inauguration. In fact, one of them, I don't want to mention, one of the two branches that are now saying that I shouldn't claim credit for it, even on the eve of their inauguration, I could have stopped it because they thought they were going to run me down. They called somebody in Accra, and as usual, they presented different side of the story. And when the person called me, I said, this is the situation. Even the basic requirement, they have not satisfied. But flyers, everything is out. So for me, let's not stop. And the person said, okay, you can stop it. If they haven't satisfied the requirement, don't go ahead. I said, no. Where we have reached, with flyers out, people are looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and inaugurate it. After it's the same family, we set the rules, we can amend it to deal with emergency situation. So my conscience is clear when it comes to inauguration of branches. And the evidence is there to back it. And this evidence is reflecting in our numbers. Because as I said earlier on, when we were about to start the process of our election, the numbers that came from various branches who are eligible to vote, which they still believe they are eligible to vote, is 770. It has never happened in this chapter. It has never. Anybody who can disprove me can call in. And then we went through the process of cross-checking 3 committees, even with Accra, and finally they put it at 499, which is still a record. It has never happened.
Yes.
So you can't be involved in competitive politics and you don't want your numbers to grow. Anybody who is against the expansion of NDC in UK, I don't think deserves to lead the chapter at all, because this is not the time. People will say, okay, let's leave it to people can be non-members and then active members. How do you define an active member? How do you define? And look at what happened when JM came January this year. I don't know if you were there.
Yes,
look at the number. So that shows that the enthusiasm to join NDC in this country is unprecedented. That was less than 1 week or so we used to advertise that program with a lot of internal politics, which is not even for public consumption. So people who are rising, fighting to join NDC, they are not joining NDC because they want to take part in chapter election. But of course, if they join NDC and it turns out that they are entitled to vote, they should be allowed to vote. Honestly, some of them didn't even know that the chapter election coming. They didn't know. For them, they have seen the party and they want to hear. So when they started seeing my flyer, they'll call me, Abba Chairman, are we doing it? I say, yes. I'm just an incumbent and my term of office is an injury time. Yes. So we need to renew it. That's what I told them. So you don't go recruiting people or expanding branches or forming branches because chapter election is coming. Let me give you another example. In 2019, before 2020 election, I traveled to Manchester twice.
Okay.
Was I seeking election? No. That time I was thinking Roper is coming. And if Roper is coming, we need to make sure that our presence is felt in the second largest city in the United Kingdom. I went there. Today, Manchester is one of the vibrant. And when JM came, he single-handedly pointed out which branch is this. I said, that's Manchester. If not because of my efforts with the chapter secretary, Michael Kudiabo, I don't think Manchester would have been where they are today. That is the fact. We drove. We didn't collect any TNT from anybody on 2 occasions. And credit to them. The second one, they said, oh, Chairman, collect this for Petra. I said, no, I don't want trouble. I put myself to serve. And I'm not doing this because I want anything in return. So I don't need anything from Manchester people. So this last week Saturday, you know Hall?
Yeah.
I was in Hall.
Wow.
I was in Hall. I came home early hours of Sunday. And Sunday evening, we're doing another debate. So these are the things that I do. And this is not the second time I'm attending an event in Hall. 2 or 3 years ago, I was there. That time I wasn't seeking election. Birmingham have been there anytime they have their program.
So it seems like you have a lot of achievements.
Achievement a lot, unprecedented.
So what are some of the challenges for you as a chairman?
You see, the problem I have in this chapter, which I've learned a lot, and I'll try and address it. I try to bring everyone on board. And I'll still continue to bring everyone on board. I've said this on several platforms, and I'll repeat it here. Sometimes Accra will call me. If I say Accra, that I'm referring to
yes,
head office.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, but you, the executive, you can't even agree on anything. And there was a day I told someone, how can we agree on everything when we are electioneering period? And I gave an example. You have the deputy organizer contesting his boss. So what do you expect? So definitely, naturally, when decisions are being made, then people are going to be looking, how do I benefit from it? Which is wrong. It shouldn't be the case. In 2018, people that openly campaigned against me even contested me. After my victory, I said, okay, we are all one party. There were a lot of positions for corruption. I said, okay, these are people who openly campaign against or oppose me. If I work to co-op with my colleagues to co-op people from my camp, then we're forming one-sided chapter, which is not nice. So I say, okay, let's reach out to people that oppose me and bring, I will mention names today,
Yes.
but those listeners will know what I'm talking about, and co-opt them into the executive. Though I had reservation about certain people, but it was a majority decision. Now it was my sense, okay, but most of them, I even worked to bring them in. And there are some in this current chapter executive, I even work for them behind the scenes for them to get their positions unopposed. Honestly, I don't need to lie. That is the truth of the matter. And if they go to church or they go to mosque and they believe in whatever prayer, they won't dispute that because they know that is the right. Why was I doing that? I wanted to minimize tension round down to the election. And then they came in. Things were fine. But I used to tell people, you wait. If we are lucky to win the 2020 election, then there won't be problem. Everybody will move his attention to Accra. Because I know some of them, they just want appointment in Accra. So we'll have peaceful election. But the moment we lost 2020 election, we're in big trouble. Someone asked me why. I said, okay, now we are going to start thinking about the chapter election. So we will not be able to make any meaningful decision without controversies. And that led to where we are today. That led where we are today.
But you have other diasporans. You have America, US, you have Canada, you have Germany, but they have all able to make...
No. I don't want to talk about other chapters issue. They have their own issues as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so but that is them for also to make their case. So it's not only UK and Ireland chapter. But because we are the model, everybody looks up to us. And we are still. Of course, I'm not a greedy politician. I want other foreign chapters to engage in healthy competition with UK and Ireland. Because there's another propaganda. You know, when UK was the only strong diaspora chapter, we go to National Delegate Congress, then UK chairperson will speak on behalf of all the diaspora chapters. Yes. We have maintained that title for a very long time. Okay. And all that time, US was in serious crisis. So when I was elected as the chair, that time US has managed to resolve their issues, and they have elected their new chairperson, Vivian Daisy.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Accra said, okay, that Congress, because US went through crisis, let them tell the whole world that US NDC is now back on stream. So they were going to give opportunity to the US chairperson to speak on behalf of the diaspora at that Congress. And they also consider the gender factor. Okay. I missed my flight on that day. So the pre-meeting, I wasn't there, but the chapter secretary was there. So when I arrived that morning, and the chapter secretary told us, oh, that's fine. Why should I have issues with this? We got to the Congress, and that was straight, fair. I was seated. I'm saying this on record. It's public. You know CD, the former youth organizer. He came to me and tapped me. And I turned. He calls me master. He was my student. That's the truth of the matter. When Yosekazo asked me in the house, when did I come, we spoke. And he said, Honorable Kofi Ato asked him to come and call me. So I went to where the dignitaries were sitting. And Honorable Kofi Ato told me the reason why that year UK will not be given or speaking on behalf of the diaspora. Oh, and before he landed, I said, no, even for gender equality, I think the US chairperson should be speaking. Yeah. And the lady turned and said, oh, you are indeed a gentleman. But I told her, okay, if they call you to speak, we the diasporas will go up with you to the podium. And I went. If you look at the video, it's there. But because people think politics is about catching unnecessary public attention. What is it? To go and speak at a conference. we go fighting for it. So that every day is UK. The whole world will start thinking, does it mean that NDC don't have other chapters across the globe? Mm-hmm. And even last year, I'll understand they wanted to even rotate it so that Germany will do. I wasn't there, we couldn't go because of. So those of you going around saying we are sinking because US spoke at the last National Delegate Congress, for me, it's very trivial. It doesn't matter who speaks on behalf of diaspora.
So, I mean,
especially if you are an equal opportunity party, why do you expect to always do things when you need to be encouraging other chapters to also come to your level?
So, if you are to retain your position,
yes,
what would you do differently or better?
Better. Well, in terms of doing things differently, I think I'll listen to them because some of the things sometimes they say, because I just assume we should know this. I just assume. You have a situation, an executive member will tell you, oh, you can't call a meeting. As a chairman, then who calls a meeting? I'm wondering.
The way you said it.
Yeah, honestly. And these are basic things. If you are working in a formal structure,
yes,
the head, the team manager can delegate. I'm not there, you call all the meeting. And sometimes, okay, sometimes we have router for even sharing of meetings, just to motivate our colleagues to come to our level. But the call is in the court of the chairman. So you have a situation we argue over this thing. But because I just assume we should all know this, sometimes I try to explain, no, that's not it. And in the next minute, they will misconstrue it. The chairman said he can do everything. But I'm not saying I can do everything. But there are certain basic things that is within my court to do. So, and these days I've learned something. Things that will not cause us collateral damage, I just say allow it.
Yes.
I know it's wrong, but it's not going to affect us too much. Okay, leave it. I've started doing it even before my victory next week. Some of the things, some of the executive members come, Chairman, don't agree to this, wrong. I say, no, leave it. Because I know if I say A on this issue, the next minute they'll say it's B. So I'm telling UK and Allied chapter members, I've not been their chair for nothing. I've learned a lot. Both from those who support me 100%, those who are skeptical, and those who hate me. I've learned, are opposing me. I won't use the word hate. I've learned a lot.
Yes.
So I'll bring that experience that I've acquired.
So coming with reflective
ideas to move things forward. Now in social work, we have what we call appreciative inquiry.
Yes.
When something is going wrong, you need to look at the positive that comes out of it. Don't look at the drawback. Otherwise, you can never move
forward. Working from the strength.
The strength, exactly. So I'll emphasize on the strength, improve it, and of course, we'll look at the weaknesses and see how we can move things forward.
So, I mean, working with people who are hard to work with, you meet that in your job. We meet that in our daily experiences. Now, as a chairman, how do you work with someone who don't like you? If someone say you know what? No matter what you say,
I don't like you.
Say, how do you work with someone? Because you have to come up with your plan.
That is the problem, because I don't see opposing you or defeating a defeat as anything in our career. You know it. I can get up with all my ideas thinking, oh, this thing I'm going to get it, but I don't get it. I'll tell my colleagues, my subordinates, this we want to do. They won't agree with me.
And this is in Ghana politics. This is why they fight.
And then we argue as if you are not going to talk the next day. But tomorrow you have to come and still work. So I brought that kind of thinking into politics. Thinking, okay, we can disagree, but let's not take it too personal. And that is why I argue. I tell them my peace of mind. But the next minute, if I need to call somebody to so that can work for the chapter or I do that. The organizer is my example. We argue almost every day. But the next minute, if I have to call him, I have to call him because he needs to do certain. Even this morning.
Like the showdown with Kennedy saying showdown.
I mean,
it's everywhere, is it?
We argue, but we must still work together. But some don't see it that way. The moment you correct them, oh, Chairman Mbalba is a dictator, is autocrat. What is autocracy in this? I have never made a decision without putting it to them. Never. If you ask them, they should bring the examples of where I've used some dictatorial tendencies. They can't prove it. They can't. Again, today I'm just going to erase some of the discussion.
I will let you continue. But is this something that even within one family, even siblings, they don't, sometimes they can't
agree.
Then they have to. So, I mean, when situations like this, how do you work with them?
And that's what I'm saying. I'm still working with them. I don't have any personal grudge against anyone. Never. If you see me, I go to events, I see them, I talk. Some of them will say, I'm not sociable. That's my nature. I don't want to be artificial. I don't want to be artificial. That is me. I can be social. I can talk till the cows come. Yes. But if I decide not to talk, doesn't mean that I'm not social. And sometimes you have to be careful in this our era of politics. Where you say one thing and the next day they twist it, you have to be careful what you say. I sit in public and I talk. Why can't I talk to people on an individual basis? It's their attitude. So those with the misconception that I'm not sociable, that is not the case. If you get to know me, you know that I'm the most easygoing person you can find.
The team working together is what will carry the 2024 election.
Yeah.
But if the team are not working,
exactly,
and there's this great misunderstanding.
And I've tried all my best. Look, because before I came to office, we created this external platform where we have the branch chairman and their secretaries on it. We deliberate issues there. But you see, some of the things sometimes you see on the executive platform, I feel ashamed because as a professional, things like that, we should even be reporting it. But you can't do that because it's internal politics. It doesn't mean that if you are doing politics, you should just come and say things that you cannot substantiate if you are called to do that. And this has to do with people's career. So if I decide to be hard on people, then the next thing they will say is Alhassan who is doing. But for me, sometimes I'll say, no, let's forget it. Some of the things happening in this chapter, I can tell you are gross misconduct. They can warrant disciplinary action. But sometimes I say, no, not under my watch. Me, I won't drag anybody to a disciplinary committee doing matter. I won't do it. I can raise issues with regards to your conduct just to correct you. But when it comes to full scale, say, no, let's leave it.
So has any of the executives given a feedback about how the executive perform as a team? I mean, you know, sometimes it's like being a businessman. And the businessman is not getting feedback from customers. They won't know how they perform.
Yeah, you see.
Did you get that?
You see, yes, of course, some do. But some don't because they are looking for the negatives to capitalize on it. Some don't do. They don't come out with, that is the honest truth. They don't come out with any constructive thing. They have this perception, oh, he's this and that. So theirs is just to distract. We can't have.
So something is going well, they won't say.
No, they won't say it. They won't say it. They won't say it. But when something is not going bad or is borderline, then they capitalize on it. That's the situation we're finding. I'm saying this so that we will learn in our collective interest as a political party. Where you perform well, like today, when I joined South London, I told them they did well. Why? Because it's the branch with the highest number of voters. So you can't go into that meeting without praising them. You have to praise them. But they have this mentality, oh, he doesn't want people to shine. That is not me. That is not me. Social work is about empowering, creating opportunities. And if I've been doing this job for good 20 years in this country, how can I then turn in my own private life and be doing something differently? If NDC is empowered today, how many positions can I get, even if they are going to appoint me? Only one. Does it mean that I should stop others from UK from getting? And me, I'm not even interested. Sometimes people ask me, but you, what is your problem? When you were in government and there was opportunity, you didn't even show interest. Now that you are in opposition, you are fighting. I can mention it. I have colleagues who were ministers the last time we were government. Idris Haruna was my mate. I can say it. I can give that credit for it. As far back 2008, 1 week, he said, Mbalba, come home. I asked him why. That if you don't come home, you regret. I said, why? That, oh, this is our time, our generation.
Yes.
He said it. But I said, oh, leave it. Me, I'm not coming. So these are some of the things. So for me, serving NDC is to put something back to the party and to mother Ghana. I've never sent my CV to Ghana looking for anything. When we're in government, I've never. That's the truth of the matter. I've not been to any office saying I'm looking for anything.
Because you have a good job.
I have a good job. Job is stressful. So if I want to go to Ghana, I'll just pick my bag and go. If the opportunity presents itself for me to serve, that is fine. So I won't live here because I want to go and make a career in Ghana. No. Because I've gone past the age where any public service will recruit me in Ghana. That's the truth of the matter. Where am I going to start from? The only work I did in Ghana is my national service. So when I hear some of the things, I just wonder. I'm here to serve NDC and I want people to re-elect me, and I'll continue to do what matters when it comes to competitive politics. That is increasing our members so that when RUPA is implemented, we can face NPP boot for boot.
Considering the chairman position,
yes,
and being a pressurized kind of job, whereby you need a lot of skills to manage, how are you managing your time, family life, doing this, that? And
honestly, if not because of the love for NDC and Mother Ghana, as you know our work.
Yeah.
Today I was working. Up to 7 I was still on the complaint. Just that I was lucky that I
the way you said it.
So sometimes
what time did you start? 7 a.m.
Where do I get energy? And as you say, we have our family commitment.
Yes.
We have other social life to live.
How do you manage your time?
It's very difficult. You need to prioritize how you do it. And today, this evening alone, I was torn between South London event and this one.
Yes.
So when I was coming, I have to even stop on the way and join South London before heading towards this place. My approach is not about me, the team. We need to reduce the temperature. We are not growing younger. We are getting older. Yes. And some of the prayers we used to handle, we can't continue that way. So for me, it's about team building, bringing my skills from work to make sure that we distress so that we can concentrate on what matters to NDC. Those petty things will not take us anywhere as a political party. And I know that I'll be elected, inshallah, on Saturday. And because the focus will now be 2024 after Saturday, I don't expect too much trouble. Yes. That time, attention will focus on 2024. And I'm optimistic, 99% certain, John Mahama is going to be elected. Yes. So when Jones wins the next election, then the dynamic is going to change again. Some of us will still be here holding the fort. That was another thing I need to clarify there. People said, come 2025, that they may call you to Ghana for appointment. So don't contest the chapter election. And I've said to myself, because of 2025, I shouldn't contest for chapter election. But how can we win 2024 if we don't have the right people at the right place? Let's stop thinking about who is going to get appointment in 2025. Let's think about how we can contribute to resounding victory on 7th November 2024. And I can tell you on authority, without any doubt in my mind, that among the 4 people contesting me, I stand tall. Because for me, at this stage, it's experience. And I'm more experienced than them. They may have experience in other sectors, but when it comes to NDC politics, especially UK and Ireland chapter, I was the deputy secretary for 4 years. I've been chairman for 4 years or 5 years now. What else do you want? What experience are you looking? If you are looking, so some of them, they were branch chairman. They now want to try their luck. The record in their branches is clear. As I said earlier on, you don't wait till when you want to be a chairman, then you start recruiting members. And I'm not saying this so The data from one branch, that's what it's showing. And well, that branch is the oldest. So I was expecting that branch should have more numbers than even South London, because they have been in existence for more than 10 years. So why didn't you recruit? So for me, I'm praying next 4 years, all the branch chairmen will be contesting to be chairman. So that if they do that, then they will see the numbers growing. And collectively, NDC will benefit.
How is your charity work going in your hometown?
Oh, that's another thing. I'm a trustee. I didn't even mention that. A big trustee.
Well, I'm a researcher.
Yeah, I'm a trustee. Yeah, I'm a trustee of a charity, yes, which we are doing a lot in that direction. That's another, I don't know whether it's my third job or whatever. It's a big one. And that's another issue. I will say this again. I'm a Dagomba. I'm a chairman of Dagomba UK. What is wrong with that? What is that? So should you abandon your family because you are doing politics? I'm proud to be a Dagomba. Yeah, some are saying, oh, he's a chairman of Dagomba UK. He has no time for. And that's not true. That's not true. I remember somebody very close to Prof. Mills said for him in 2008, before we won, how he wanted to be very close to the people of Central region. Yes. And that the magic happened. So I'm not going to say because I'm into partisan politics, I should abandon my people. No, I won't do that today. I was born in Dagomba before NDC was formed. So that shouldn't change my tribe.
Do you think, I mean, you've taken this to a very important area in our country, tribal politics. How do you see it? I mean, we are in the 21st century. When we are here, as black people, Africans, we want to bring our children up with our identity, family values and all that. We're complaining of white people being discriminatory. And in our country, even as one country, just different languages, we have a problem.
That's what we call regionalism in politics, as a student of politics. And all started even before our independence. And it has continued throughout. We have the LGM in the Ashanti region. We have the Northern People's Party. And of course, we have the United Gold Coast, which later on became the UP, metamorphosized into Progress Party. So during the college struggle for independence, the nationalists at that time were much interested in their community, which was right. There was nothing wrong, because if you take consider the constitutional development of Ghana, I don't know if you have read about this. The Northern Territories, which was known as the Protectorates, were not even part of the Gold Coast. They became part of the Gold Coast under St. Allenby's Constitution of 1946. Those who have studied history and government politics will tell you. So that time, the likes of D.S. Dombo and then Yakubu Tolena, and then Baumea's father, Senior Baumea, they represented the Northern Territories, and they came out with the NPP, the Northern People's Party. Their approach was to cater for their interests. So that, and they were right, because there was nothing at the national level. They were not even part till 1946. So the likes of David Danko and co were also projecting their interests. And if you come to the National Liberation Movement in the Ashanti region, they were also fighting for their interests. And that was why, even before we became independent, there were arguments whether we should go for a unitary system or a federal system. Sorry for the government lecture. I'm a student of politics, but it's good to always give this background.
Our viewers are enjoying it. It's okay.
It was Nkrumah that saved Ghana, because the UP that time were pushing for what? Federal system of government. And Nkrumah and the CPP was pushing for what? Unitary system of government. And you know the formula for distribution of the national cake if a country is a federal system. The region that produces the largest share of the national cake take the elephant share. So those who were pro Ashanti dominated areas were saying that the resources is coming from their regions, so we need to do federal system of government so that the money or the resources, they will take more share, and those who don't contribute will take less. Yes. But Nkrumah, with his vision, said, no, you can't do that, because the countries are not evenly endowed with resources. Yes. If you do it that way, that means some regions of Ghana will be left out. So he refused. And the colonial government at that time set up a committee headed by Frederick Bond. Frederick Bond came and studied the Ghana democracy and the resources distribution, and they recommended a federal system, unitary system of government. And even the UP resisted. And it has to take struggle and elections for Nkrumah to gain independence under a unitary system. So that is why when I hear people saying we have founders in Ghana, I say that's distortion of our history. Ghana, we have only one founder. Because the Ghana that we have today, if not because of what Nkrumah did, Ghana would have been created without some parts of Ghana. At least the northern Togoland and some part of northern regions wouldn't have been part of the present-day Ghana.
So what does the future hold for us?
No, let me. In U.S., they have founding fathers because various countries within the United States of America came together to surrender their independence to form United States of America, and that is why we have founding fathers in the U.S. But in Ghana, it was only Nkrumah who fought for independence, and Ghana was created as a unitary state through its self-independence now, whereas others were saying independence step by step. So if we had listened to them, Ghana wouldn't have been granted independence on 6 March 1957. So Nkrumah is the only founder of Ghana. People can try all their best to distort our history, but he's the founder of Ghana. We need to give him that.
I know you'll be at work tomorrow. So, I mean, what does the future hold now in terms of the elections coming up?
Yeah.
And
I'm going to, sorry I'm doing the talking. The election coming up, there's another issue I want to touch. Accountability.
Yes, it's very important.
Because sometimes I hear some of these things, a misconception going there. Look, when I became the chapter chairman, before I became, rather, all our monies, dues, everything was paid to the chapter account. It was paid into the chapter account. No money was coming to branches. But after my victory, 4 or 5 years ago, everything, we decentralized it. So branches are supposed to be collecting their dues. And they would then, in turn, send 60% of it to the chapter. The chapter would then send 30% to Accra. That's what it's supposed to be. And I can tell you, it was only late last year or early last year that the branches started sending the money. So what do you want me to account for? And the same branch members, executives or chairman, contesting, they have been branch chairman for 8 years. So you can't account for yourself. It's in a hierarchy. If you want independent transparency, a branch chairman should be accounting to the chapter leadership. You have not done that. And you are not telling us if you are elected, you'll be accounting. When you are, and for me,
don't the chapter chairman have the duty to oversee every activities in every
excellent. Chapter? Let me tell you, I'll say this again. There's nothing I didn't do, but because of issue of confidentiality, I can say
yes.
But I'll say it publicly. Even when the international director stepped in, the issue couldn't be resolved. But I won't go into details.
Yeah.
And can you imagine, is it my duty to read the budget? Assuming let's link it to national politics. I'm the president and you have your finance minister, which in this case is the treasurer. Has the treasurer said he's going to render account and I said, no, don't do it? There's not any record. But I have record to show when I said, let's do it. It never happened. So it's not Mbalba who is not rendering account, because that's not even my duty. Can you imagine what will happen today if I call a meeting and say, okay, I'm going to render account? They will say, oh, he's not doing the job of the treasurer. That is the situation I've found myself. Everything I do is a problem. So I've learned my lesson. And that's why some of the things sometimes these days I don't get involved. So, and I'm the first person, chapter, to appoint internal auditor. You haven't idle because officers that are supposed to cooperate with him to do his job refuse to do it.
Did the internal auditor achieve its
Nothing,
purpose?
because internal auditor can audit accounts in vacuum.
But it depends on the experience.
No, what I mean, look, you have to prepare a set of information for the auditor to audit. And if people are saying they won't give this to the auditor, how do you expect the auditor to operate? And some of the executive and party members are fully aware of the situation. They did nothing about it. I suspect they were just waiting for election to come and they will use it as propaganda. And that is another lesson I've learned. If I had known this is the way they are going to play it, I would have taken it to the next level. So it's not like I didn't know what to do, but for the sake of unity, sometimes I just ignore some of these things. So my conscience is clear.
Ignoring it, did it become costly then?
To some extent, because I'm now compelled to be defending things that is not even within my remit to do. As a chapter chair, I don't have to render account. It's the treasurer that will do that. And the treasurer, before he even presents it, he needs to bring it to the chapter executive. We will approve it. Have we done that? That's the question they should be asking themselves. So, for me,
message do you have for on Saturday that if they vote for you, what the future will be for?
Look, there's this propaganda out there that NDC UK Ireland is sinking. It's not sinking because the evidence is there. And the good thing is that I'm very happy because UK and Ireland chapter is one of the most highly educated and discerning constituency within the NDC party. Because people are educated, they are intelligent. You can't lie to them. I don't want to mention names. Yesterday I called a gentleman to canvass for votes. And he asked me one question, which I don't want to say. And the moment I start explaining, he said, stop, my brother. It's okay. If he's listening, he will know what I'm talking about. So, and some people, listening to some of the things they write, they call me to say they think we are fools. Assuming if Alhassan Mbalba spend 2020 campaign money, let's assume that is stealing, isn't it? If I steal your money, what do you need to do?
Report it.
Report it to the police. If you don't want to take it outside, you drag me before the disciplinary committee. You know why Accra is laughing at them? Because Accra knows that they are liars. Because Alhaji Mbalba never spent the money. Never. So if you go saying that he spent campaign money and he's not responding to you and you kept saying it and you are not taking necessary action to get your money back, you think the listeners are fool to listen to you.
If someone keeps saying things and you feel that it's not there, did you take any steps in terms of defamation of character? Because if someone is going out spreading rumors about you or saying this, what do you do as a chairman to make sure that this is stopped?
Honestly, I mean, my campaign manager, who happens to be a social worker, when that issue came out, he was disturbed. And you know what he told me? Chairman, take action. This may affect your career. I laugh over it. I said, leave it. Because I know within me is lies. Even if they report me to Social Work England, I'll come out with the facts. But I just feel sorry for the poor soul going around tarnishing his own image. But at the appropriate time, the truth will come out. But I'm not going to respond. I won't do anything about it. And I don't respond because if you have somebody telling you, I have nothing to lose, so I can say anything. Why do I go run after that person? He has made it clear I have nothing to lose. So I will say anything, whether it's the truth or it's the lies. I'm just saying this. And when they kept saying all these lies, and people are not listening to them, then their campaign started crumbling. Because the number of people that called to tell me, Chairman, what have you done to these people? Because this thing is becoming too personal. Do something about it. I say, leave it. That's MPP style of politics. And you can't prosper in NDC politics if your style is MPP style. Lie. Tarnish people's image just to get what you want.
But do you think the same thing is happening?
In this chapter, we are at that stage. There's this issue of post office. You are a post office box. You won't believe it. Because it's on platforms. I need to say it. I use my own money because the post office invoice was in arrears. I paid for it. They went around saying that it's a lie. I just claimed the money without paying for it. I said, I paid for it. And my bank statement is showing I paid for it. Someone said, oh, he called Royal Mail. They said the money has not been paid, even though the thing is showing. I kept quiet. So that kind of damage. So how much was it? Less than 300 pounds? Or is it? Why should you tarnish someone's image because of 300 pounds? And you know you are lying. So I went to the bank, checked, produced the evidence, said, look, I've paid for it. So if I went for your money for reimbursement, and under normal circumstances, I should be asking for interest from NDC. Because I shouldn't be using my own money. And that's another discussion, because we have an account. I'll say it and people will know. An account where there's no debit card, there's no online banking.
No, it's okay. Let's go more. So what does the future hold now? Now, Saturday, we're looking forward, Alhaji Mbalba. What do you have to say?
If you want NDC, you can Allied chapter to continue prospering. Vote for Chairman Alhaji Mbalba. I'm not here to deceive you. I'm not here to do Akufo-Addo style of politics. Making utopian promises. Things that we have not been able to do in our small way, and we are promising big things. You have an aspirant saying, oh, if I'm elected, I'll make sure that we raise 6-figure sum to contribute towards 2024. Meanwhile, in 2020, when we did fundraising, this same person didn't contribute even penny. You don't necessarily need to be a chapter chairman to contribute. So that is me. People should elect me, and I'll make sure that I will continue to contribute my quota to the betterment of NDC and UK Raleigh chapter. We are not sinking or whatever they want to say. We are rising. Our flag is high. Those who think politics in the diaspora is still on the social media should have a rethink. They should go back to the drawing board. We are not saying social media is not important. And you see somebody telling you because he's more visible on social media, he should be elected. Okay, you are visible on social media. What is stopping you from using that your visibility on social media to help chapter now? Do you have to be a chapter executive to bring it to bear on the fortunes of the chapter? So these are some of the people who have hijacked this party, trying to hijack. But one thing they are refusing to understand, NDC is a social democratic party, equal opportunities for everyone. Don't try to overestimate your influence in NDC. So all I'm saying, because we know those people, all these troubles, we know those who are causing it. But my conscience is clear. I know at the end of the day, prosperity will judge me. I've not done anything wrong. Maybe one day, NDC, you can write chapter and say, okay, there was this chairman who managed to inaugurate more branches than any other chairman. It has happened already. Yes. I'm the first chairman to inaugurate branch in Scotland. You can't take that away from me. That is done. It's history. That's my record. So I'm not saying my record. It's a collective effort. Yes. And that's why if you look at my team, our achievement, our collective responsibility. We work together. Yes. But of course, we have what in politics we call what? Paramos what? Inter pares. The first among the equal. If you don't have a good captain, where will the ship go to?
Start sinking.
So this ship is on afloat. It's not sinking. Those who want to see it sinking in order to enhance their chances of winning elections, I bet you these members of this chapter are more intelligent. They are discerning. They won't buy into their lies. And I have no doubt that on the 7th October, next week Saturday, Chairman Alhaji Mbalba will be retained resoundingly, because the messages is sinking. I'm cool, I don't lie, I don't go around. I say the truth, so though sometimes it's painful hearing, but that one I'll say it. I'm not lying about any. All what I'm saying, people have not contributed 4 years ago, and they are now promising a 6,000 figure. It's true, because the lists are there. The lists are there. So our chapter members shouldn't allow people like that to come and lie to them, because clearly you don't have to be a chapter executive to contribute. I have contributed, and the evidence is there. I'm the chairman, but I'll still contributing. Yes. Every contribution, I make sure that I put my name there as soon as possible. And the lists were being publicized on the chapter for people to see. So let's not allow people who are so self-centered, people who think they are more important than their colleagues, to cause damage to the chapter. You can contest, but don't run the chapter down.
So if your last word is?
Yeah.
My
last word is not about me. It's about NDC, Mother Party in Ghana. And I can tell you, in terms of contributing our quota to winning victory in 2024, it's me. So if NDC UK and Ireland chapter wants to play their role effectively in 2024, they shouldn't make a mistake and change Alhaji Mbalba next week, Saturday. I'm begging, pleading, I don't want to use Akufo-Addo's type, that you should vote for me, not for my sake, but for the sake of NDC, UK and Ireland chapter, the mother party in Ghana, and Ghana as a whole. Let's not leave this party in the hands of people who are only available when it comes to chapter elections. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Alhaji Alhassan Mbalba, thank you very much for coming on the invitation.
Okay.
And we wish you very well.
Thank you.
On Saturday.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Also, we'd like to thank our viewers, all our viewers, for this program. And CEO Joe Bedru and Sister Dansoa, thank you all.
Thank you.
And have a good night.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And delay capsule media partners Omega TV UK, powered by Alodia Promotions and West Coast UK. The 7th edition of Tabia Ghana Music Awards UK, live from Manor Park, London.